Israel and Iran are at war, but without declaring one. Missiles aren't flying, yet instead spies, hackers, militias, and invisible strikes are reshaping the Middle East. Tonight, we uncover the silent battlefield where every move could trigger a real war, and the world may not be ready for what comes next. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and thank you for joining me for another deep dive into global power struggles that shape our future. Today, we are uncovering one of the most dangerous conflicts happening right now. But surprisingly, it's a war that technically does not exist. Israel and Iran have never officially declared war on each other, yet both are locked in a continuous fight on multiple fronts. It is a conflict fought in silence through proxies, cyberattacks, assassinations, sabotage operations, and shadow intelligence wars. Both sides deny some operations publicly while secretly escalating the situation behind closed doors. There are no battlefield front lines with tanks or infantry, but every strike, every drone launched, every underground nuclear centrifuge targeted pushes the region closer to a point of no return. In this video, we break down how this silent war began, where the hidden battlefields are located, and how global superpowers like the United States, Russia, and even China are influencing the fight. This is not just a regional struggle, it is a conflict with consequences that could reshape world alliances and possibly ignite a much wider confrontation. So stay tuned as we reveal how Israel and Iran are fighting a shadow war without ever declaring one. How this shadow war started, the origins of this silent conflict trace back to the 1979 Iranian Revolution, when Iran transformed from a US allied monarchy into an Islamic republic fiercely opposed to Israel's existence. Ayatollah Khomeini called Israel the Little Satan, declaring its destruction a religious duty. From that moment, Israel saw Iran as its greatest long-term security threat. Tensions escalated in the 1990s and 2000s when Iran supported Hezbollah in Lebanon and began developing nuclear capabilities, raising alarm in Tel Aviv. Israel believed a nuclear-armed Iran would fundamentally shift the balance of power in the Middle East and possibly threaten its survival. Meanwhile, Iran accused Israel of committing acts of sabotage and assassination, especially after several Iranian nuclear scientists were mysteriously killed between 2010 and 2021. Cyber warfare also emerged as a new battlefield, with the Stuxnet virus attack damaging Iran's Natanz nuclear facility, widely believed to be an Israeli and US joint operation. Over time, both countries expanded the war into new fronts: Syria, Iraq, the Red Sea, and even cyberspace. Neither side wants a full-scale war, but neither is willing to back down. Their rivalry has evolved into a continuous cycle of retaliation, testing red lines without ever crossing into a declared conventional conflict that could engulf the entire region. Syria, the front line of their proxy war, Syria has become the most active and dangerous front in the Israel-Iran shadow war. After the Syrian civil war began in 2011, Iran saw an opportunity to expand its influence. It deployed Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps RG advisors, funded Shiite militias, and strengthened Hezbollah's presence. Iran's goal was clear: build a land corridor from Tehran to Lebanon, enabling weapons transfers directly to Israel's northern border. Israel considers this buildup an existential threat. As a result, the Israeli Air Force has launched hundreds of airstrikes in Syria, targeting Iranian bases, weapons convoys, and infrastructure. These strikes are usually silent, no warnings, no announcements, just sudden explosions reported by Syrian media. Iran responds indirectly, using militias to target Israeli positions in the Golan Heights or US bases in the region. Russia's involvement in Syria adds another layer of complexity. Moscow cooperates with Israel to avoid accidental clashes in Syrian airspace while also being an ally to Iran and the Assad regime. This risky balancing act means even one mistake in Syria could pull major powers into the conflict. The battlefield remains fluid and unpredictable, with both sides trying to gain advantage without triggering an all-out regional war that could spread beyond the Middle East. Lebanon and Hezbollah, Iran's strongest weapon against Israel. Lebanon represents one of the most critical and volatile fronts in this silent war. Iran has spent decades building and arming Hezbollah, transforming it from a small militia into one of the most powerful non-state military forces on earth. With an arsenal estimated at more than 150,000 rockets and missiles, Hezbollah can strike deep inside Israel, including Tel Aviv and beyond. Israel sees Hezbollah as Iran's forward operating army, a direct threat stationed right on its northern border. Every year, tensions flare as Hezbollah tests Israel's defenses with cross-border fire, drone incursions, or intelligence-gathering operations. Meanwhile, Israel conducts stealth airstrikes in Syria to prevent Hezbollah from receiving advanced precision guided missiles from Iran. The situation is a high-stakes chess match. Iran wants deterrence, the ability to strike back if Israel ever attacks its nuclear program. Israel wants to stop Hezbollah from becoming strong enough to launch a devastating first strike. Civilians on both sides live under constant fear that this uneasy standoff could explode into a repeat of the 2006 Lebanon war. only far more destructive. Even a minor miscalculation along the border could ignite a massive conflict, dragging in multiple nations and turning Lebanon into the most dangerous flashpoint in the Middle East. The covert intelligence operations, Mossad as IRGC, beyond missiles and militias, intelligence agencies are fighting a ruthless and quiet war. On Israel's side stands Mossad, one of the most advanced intelligence services in the world, known for precise and daring missions. Opposing them is Iran's IRGC intelligence organization, determined to protect the Islamic Republic and expand its regional influence. This silent war includes sabotage operations deep inside each other's territory. Multiple Iranian nuclear scientists have been assassinated in mysterious shootings and bombings that Tehran attributes to Mossad. Israel has also allegedly carried out explosions at sensitive nuclear facilities, delaying Iran's progress. Meanwhile, Iran targets Israeli officials, dissidents, and Jewish communities abroad through covert plots. Both sides also engage in extensive espionage, trying to recruit insiders, steal classified documents, or infiltrate secret weapons programs. In recent years, cyber operations have become another battlefield. Iran has launched cyber attacks disrupting Israeli infrastructure, while Israel has reportedly hacked Iranian government and military systems. These operations rarely make headlines at first, but their impact can be enormous. Each successful covert strike increases mistrust and heightens the risk of retaliation. As both intelligence agencies push boundaries, the possibility of a major escalation rises, because one wrong move in the shadows can fuel a dangerous conflict in the light. Cyber warfare, invisible attacks with real consequences in the modern world. Wars are no longer fought only with guns and bombs. Cyber warfare has become a crucial weapon in the silent conflict between Israel and Iran. One of the most famous examples is the Stuxnet virus, a sophisticated malware discovered in 2010 that caused massive damage to Iran's Natanz nuclear centrifuges. Although neither country publicly admitted involvement, it is widely believed to have been a joint operation by Israel and the United States. Since then, Iran has rapidly improved its cyber capabilities. Iranian hackers have targeted Israel's water facilities, ports, private companies, and government networks. Some attacks have tried to poison water systems or disrupt electricity. Israel, in response, has hit back with its own digital strikes, temporarily shutting down Iranian fuel distribution, railway systems, and even digital billboards displaying anti-regime messages. Unlike missile strikes, these cyber attacks allow both sides to test each other's defenses without crossing a clear red line. However, they can still cause real damage and even risk civilian lives. What makes cyber warfare especially dangerous is how quickly it can escalate and how difficult it is to determine the attacker's identity. A single miscalculation or misattribution could lead to a harsh retaliation, pushing the silent war into the open. Red Sea and maritime clashes, a hidden naval battlefield. The Red Sea and surrounding waters have become another crucial arena in the Israel-Iran shadow conflict. Iran-backed militias, especially the Houthis in Yemen, have targeted commercial ships linked to Israel using missiles, drones, and naval mines. These attacks disrupt global trade routes and put pressure on Israel's economy while allowing Iran to strike indirectly without exposing itself to direct retaliation. In response, Israel has deployed naval assets, including submarines and advanced missile boats, to secure maritime routes and support allied forces. Israel has also carried out covert operations against ships transporting weapons to Syria or Lebanon, often damaging or disabling vessels believed to be supplying Iranian proxies. Meanwhile, international powers like the United States maintain heavy naval presence in the region to protect commercial shipping and contain Iran's influence. This makes the Red Sea a crowded, intense environment where misunderstandings could spark a wider confrontation. Maritime warfare is especially risky because ships are vulnerable and attacks can be ambiguous, giving countries plausible deniability. As both Israel and Iran expand operations at sea, the silent war increasingly threatens vital global trade lanes, risking economic fallout far beyond the Middle East if tensions suddenly escalate into open naval conflict. Nuclear tensions, the line Israel will not allow Iran to cross. At the heart of this silent war lies a single, explosive issue: Iran's nuclear ambitions. For decades, Iran has insisted its nuclear program is purely peaceful. However, Israel strongly believes that Tehran aims to build nuclear weapons that could threaten Israel's very existence. This is why Israeli leaders have repeatedly declared that they will never allow Iran to obtain a nuclear bomb. Over the years, there have been multiple reports of sabotage inside Iranian nuclear facilities. Explosions, fires, power outages, and damaged centrifuges have delayed Iran's progress. Many of these incidents are suspected to be covert Israeli operations. Iran has responded by accelerating uranium enrichment, reducing cooperation with international inspectors, and warning that any direct attack would result in massive retaliation through Hezbollah and other proxies. The United States plays a key role here as well, trying to prevent Iran from reaching nuclear breakout capability while avoiding a full-scale war. This creates a dangerous pressure cooker situation. If Israel believes Iran is close to developing a nuclear weapon, it may feel forced to launch a preemptive strike, something experts warn could spark a regional war that pulls in multiple global powers. The nuclear issue remains the one red line that could end this silent war and begin a very loud one. Global powers, why the US, Russia, and China are watching closely. The Israel-Iran conflict is not only about two nations, it is deeply connected to the interests of global superpowers. The United States firmly supports Israel, providing advanced military technology like the F-35 fighter jet, missile defense systems, and intelligence cooperation. Washington also enforces strict economic sanctions designed to limit Iran's regional influence and nuclear program. On the other hand, Iran has strengthened strategic ties with Russia and China. Russia considers Iran an important partner in Syria, where both support the Assad regime. Moscow also sees Iran as a counterweight to US influence in the Middle East. Meanwhile, China has signed long-term economic and security agreements with Tehran, helping Iran bypass sanctions and modernize its military and infrastructure. These alliances create a geopolitical chessboard where every move is closely calculated. If the silent war escalates, it risks turning into a confrontation far larger than a regional dispute. Global shipping lanes, energy markets, and international diplomacy could all be disrupted, potentially dragging major powers into direct conflict. That is why the world pays attention. The Israel-Iran shadow war may be silent, but its consequences could echo across continents if the balance shifts too far in either direction. Could this silent war turn into a real one? As we have seen throughout this video, Israel and Iran are engaged in a dangerous silent war that spans land, sea, air, and even cyberspace. But the key question remains, how long can this conflict stay hidden in the shadows before it erupts into a full-scale regional war? Many experts believe that both sides prefer this current form of indirect confrontation. It allows them to weaken each other without triggering a massive escalation that could devastate the Middle East. However, the risks of miscalculation are extremely high. A single strike killing the wrong high-ranking figure, a cyber attack that causes civilian casualties, or a missile fired too close to a major city. Any of these scenarios could force one side to retaliate openly. The moment either Israel feels Iran is close to a nuclear weapon, or Iran believes Israel intends to destroy its regime, the silent war could transform into a loud and destructive conflict that pulls in the United States, Russia, China, and much of the region. For now, the shadow battle continues, hidden but deadly, strategic yet unstable. The world watches closely because one spark could alter history, and when that moment comes, silence will no longer protect anyone. If you found this investigation valuable, make sure to like, subscribe, and TRO and notifications so you never miss our deep dives into global power struggles. Comment below. Do you think the silent war between Israel and Iran will explode into a real one? Your voice matters. Let's discuss in the comments.